Hey YouTube, welcome back. This is the Drunk Capitalist here, and we talk about financial news, finances, debt, journeys, like all types of stuff. And today we have another talk, and obviously I gave it up in the, title of the video, but we're here to talk about the future of debt and like where things are going. So I stumbled across an article from Yahoo recently about people living paycheck to paycheck. Now, this is nothing new. People's money habits have pretty much always been the same throughout history. And to be honest, most of the rules about money have not changed much throughout history. We've had many different, iterations of systems and governance, but for the most part, fundamentally, humans are very emotional and can be extremely emotional about money. But on this channel, I'm hoping that I get to share with you guys some of my experiences with money and how I try to take away most of the emotions with money. But anyway, let's get into this article titled "Living Paycheck to Paycheck is Now the Most Common Financial Lifestyle in the US. Even the wealthy aren't immune." So just based on that title alone and how they end with "even the wealthy aren't immune," I just want to share with you guys that the most basic thing about money is not woe is me, the world is against me. It's usually your own actions. And based on the fact that if the wealthy are also living paycheck to paycheck, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem with the system. It is very likely that it's just a problem with your habits and your spending habits. That's just what it is for a majority of people. Of course, there are people who run into huge financial situations, like a huge medical thing or something like that, which is understandable. But for a majority of people, that's just not it. It's usually just bad habits and poor planning. And I'm sorry, if you're new here, I try to keep it straight, no chaser. We're not about to, coddle or anything like that. We're just gonna keep it real on this channel about just activities when it comes to money. So let's get into the article. Pushing yourself up to save can be a challenge, but more and more consumers are tallying up their monthly expenses to find they have nothing left to save anyway. Okay. A recent study shows 58% of Americans report living paycheck to paycheck in May, up from 54% the same month last year. Of those earning 50 to 100,000, about 62% were stuck in the cycle. So, first of all, let's look at $50 to $100,000. $50 to $100,000 of salary per year for an individual is actually above average salary in the U.S. period. The average salary in the U.S. is somewhere around $38,000, right? So you're above average and you're spending like even above your own means. Like it's literally living above your means. So like we think about necessities, right? And usually the necessities obviously like food, shelter, some clothing. Clothing is a little bit debatable because, we do have some like precarious spending when it comes to clothing. Even I can admit I also fall into that sometimes. I like to be fresh, be a little fly, maybe a little bit too much sometimes. But you gotta, get a grip and handle the habit. But it's not just lower income groups struggling to foot the bills, according to the report produced by payments and commerce platform Payments and personal loans website Lending Club. Taking even the researchers by surprise, 30% of people with incomes of $250,000 or more were living paycheck to paycheck as well. You see, 30% of people making $250,000 or more. So you're talking about 3 out of 10 people making $250,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. And how do you even begin to describe how wild that is? Because we know just straight up off the bat, you don't even need $250,000 to survive. Granted, you do have to pay some tax on that. You don't need $250,000 to survive. So you've elevated your lifestyle to the point that you absolutely need your next check, even though you make $250,000. You make $250,000 is like almost 10 times the amount of the average American, and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Is wild. That's why I'm trying to say that a lot of this money issues that people claim they have is not a money issue per se. It's a habit issue. It's a spending issue. It's a lack of budgeting issue. The money is not doing nothing. You're the one telling the money what to do. You're the one throwing the money in different places and choosing where the money goes. So if you can't handle that, then the problem is you, not necessarily the money. The money can't do nothing but be made and be spent. That's all the money could do, right? It could gain some interest, or it could be used to pay interest, right? So when people say, yo, it's this, it's that, it's the system, they're holding me down, they're holding me back, I don't really know what to, I just look at them like, damn, it's tough. Because I know for 90% of the people, the case is just, you just have a spending problem, or you have you making money problem. That's usually just the answer. And it's not to not have any sympathy for people who have crazy, difficult situations. It's just that people who have crazy, difficult situations that they can't really get from under are very few and far between. I only have sympathy for those people, not the average person. So now we're going to talk about this whole phenomenon of buy now, pay later, right? So I feel like that's part of what is creating this paycheck to paycheck problem that's continuously increasing. Not that paycheck to paycheck wasn't already a thing, but now it's going to start, I feel like it's going to start going up and up and up because of this whole buy now, pay later system that has been implemented over the last few years. From what I've seen, the first time I saw like a buy now, pay later installment type situation was with PayPal back in around 2017. They had a thing like that, and they had, at the same time, they were also offering like a new credit card, and they were like, oh, you could do this, blah, blah, blah. But then over the years, I've been seeing buy now, pay later companies pop up on different shopping websites that I would be on. And it always was weird to me to see it. I'm like, all right, well, that's an option, I guess. But I've always been an avid credit card user. I've made videos about it as well. Credit cards offer you, points and stuff like that. But a lot of people also fall into the trap of credit cards, and they feel like credit cards are predatory because of the interest rates and whatnot. But again, like I said, most people just have a budgeting issue and a spending issue. If you cannot handle that stuff, then you cannot handle a credit card. So you're going to fail. And to be honest, yes, the credit card companies do, in fact, wait for you to fail. They know you won't keep up with it, because if you can't handle the budget, you will slip up. Or something will happen in your life where you end up slipping up. Or you've created a mountain of debt for yourself, living paycheck to paycheck, thinking that nothing will go wrong and you'll be able to make all the payments. And life is just not like that. It's not perfect. So you have to understand that this is how they make their money. It's based on charging you interest and hoping that you don't pay your bill on time. And it's up to you to make sure you pay your bill on time. And that requires proper planning, budgeting, just not spending on frivolous things, actually know what you're doing with your money, right? So anyway, I say all this to say, now that we have the buy now, pay later, these installment plans that are like credit cards, but they're also like loans, but they're also shorter terms. And then there's also the added fact that buy now, pay laters aren't credit bureau, they aren't necessarily part of the credit bureau. So when you get a buy now, pay later installment loan, which is just a few weeks, usually 4 installments, when you get one of those, it doesn't show up on your credit, on your credit score, right? So because it doesn't show up on your credit score, there's no way for other lenders, like legitimate lenders like banks and, other car loan companies or mortgage companies, in order for them to see that you owe this money, right? But it is the case that buy now, pay later companies can discharge your debt and sell it to debt collectors. Now, once they sell it to a debt collector, it will go on your credit. And people have reported that after missing just one payment, they've been sent to debt collection because of buy now, pay later, such as like Klarna or PayPal, Afterpay, Affirm. Any of those companies have just reported them and just been like, hey, look, listen, they ain't gonna pay this. Hit them. And it hits your credit score. So when you make the payments on time, you do everything correctly, it doesn't go towards your credit score in a positive way. But if you mess up, it goes towards your credit score in a negative way. And that's always been a sore spot for me. You know who else does that? Phone companies. They do the same thing. Like, they only report you if it's bad, right? But the only thing that's coming up against these companies right now is that the banks are also going along with this whole payment installment thing. Because I don't know if anyone, like my mom told me back in the day, right, that there used to be like a, what do you call it? It's like when you used to be able to like go to a store like Macy's or something and like buy an item. I don't know the name of it. Like, I'm just drawing a blank because I never lived in no life like this. It's called layaway. So you used to be able to go to a store, right, and pay installments on an item, right? And once you're done paying, then you can get the item. But and on top of that, you have to actually go in the store, right? So already we're dealing with a completely different situation where everyone is shopping online. It's very easy. You shop online when you're bored. You shop online when you're on the plane. You shop online when you're in bed, on the toilet. You're just shopping online any time of the day. Your things just come to your front door. But you actually have to go to the store and pay off the installments, and then you can get your item. And they will hold it for you so it wouldn't sell out, you know? And if you couldn't pay for it, then you just couldn't get the item. But now, with this buy now, pay later, people are able to get their item with just 25% down. And we know that there are things that we all buy that, you know, we can't pay the full price of, like a car or a house. But those are huge, like utility type things. Like, you need a house. Sometimes you need a car, right? But do you need the Gucci bag? No, you don't. You don't need the Gucci bag. You don't need the Gucci bag. So why are you paying an installment on something that you don't need? It's because you can't afford it. So if you can't afford it, why are you buying it? And you see, here's the thing. I get the whole perspective of you feel like the world is against you and they're trying to force you into these things, but you have to take into consideration the role you play, right? They know that you're sensitive and maybe not as logical as you ought to be about money. But at the end of the day, you still make the decision. You still have all the control, so you gotta stop. Especially when you don't really get anything for using these payment systems. But I see this as just another financial ploy, you know, of just getting money out of people. A lot of these companies are not really going to last that long because they're discharging a lot of debt, which is, you know, whatever. And I get it. Like, people are gravitating towards it. Apparently, like, this industry is growing, like, super rapidly, like 300% per year over year. It's, like, exploding. Like, you don't notice it. You don't know that the person that has the Gucci bag is making payments on it, or that they use their actual credit card to pay for it. You don't know anything. A lot of people are just buying stuff and chilling, or they have a hole in their heart and they just feel like they gotta fill it with items or whatever the case may be. You really just don't know. But at the end of the day, the statistics and the data comes out every year. How people are spending their money, what they're spending it on, and if they're doing well financially or not, and if they can afford it. And the truth is, most people can't afford these things because they're buying too many things. And every time you lower the barrier, right? Because that's what these buy now pay later things do. They lower the barrier. Like, you're not running your credit in order to do it. They're using some type of special algorithm. I don't think there's an algorithm. I think they're just letting you buy the things you want to buy. Because when they create more customers, then the stores continue to pay these buy now pay later people for the attention, blah blah. So they get more customers. Customers check out more often. When people are able to use buy now pay later, why? Because psychology of money and people tells you that if you don't have to pay everything up front, you're more likely to buy something. We've been on this earth for a really long time. I'm pretty sure, all the financiers and the psychologists already have us all down to a science, especially when they're collecting our data, through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. In fact, TikTok has been a huge place where buy now pay later has been encouraged, and conspicuous consumption has been amplified. So I say all this to say that the future really is us, the near future is really us paying in short-term installments, and then also having credit cards on top of it. Okay, I'm sorry, this video is about to get super long real quick. So I realized that another small factor and issue. First of all, let's be clear. I've never ever used a buy now pay later service. I've never had to. It doesn't make sense to me because I don't get anything for it. But I realized that with the buy now pay later services, how do you pay for the 25% when you're initially purchasing? A lot of people are using their credit card, which is insane. So not only will you owe Klarna, for example, but you'll also owe Chase, for example, at the same time. So you gotta make sure you pay off Klarna with your Chase credit card 4 times, right? And then you still have the Chase interest, which could be up to 24% or something, right? That's insane. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. And I'm not trying to make fun of it or anything like that, but I just see this whole thing in the near future being really crazy. I think it's gonna explode. But even later on down the line, I think once this explodes, it rises, there's going to be a bubble, it's going to collapse. My personal prediction is that we're actually, in real life, headed more towards us just not owning things in general. We're getting to a point where people just want so much, but, don't want to sacrifice anything or build up any type of emergency fund. They don't want a budget. They just want it, and they want it now. They want to buy it now and pay it later, right? Or if it's up to them, they don't want to pay for it for real at all. They'd rather lease it. And I have a feeling that that's where we're really, really heading, is that people will be buying that Gucci bag for a term. You'll be buying your Gucci bag for 6 months, but then you just have to return it. You'll pay for it, you'll buy it, put down, basically how a lease payment works. You pay for the devaluation in that time period. You pay for it for the first 6 months. Now it's out of season, and now you got to send it back. And now you can buy another Gucci bag, and you pay for the next devaluation for that spring-summer season, and then you do the fall-winter season, and then it keeps going like that, and we're just sending bags to each other, and everyone's paying for stuff, but nobody's owning anything. I think that's where we're headed, because everyone wants to have everything. But that's all I got for you guys. That's enough of me ranting and raving. I just happened to stumble across this article. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Apparently, the buy now, pay later juggernaut is about to be tested. Apparently, economic uncertainty, competition, regulators, and the usual consumer debt problems are spoiling the fun. So, you guys could probably read this article. This is on Bloomberg. And you know, that's all I got for you guys, because I don't want to take up too much time. So yeah, I mean, I have fun with these videos. I look forward to making some more, having some more discussions and ranting and raving. And I'm also going to have some more planned videos. This video was not planned at all. I don't even have a stand for my mic. You know. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.